This is the COROS PACE 2, which has become one of the most popular running GPS watches over the past few years, and for good reason. Not only is it the lightest GPS watch ever made, it also holds a huge battery life and includes a ton of premium running analytics typically reserved for more expensive smartwatches. And that is really what makes the COROS 2 so special, that it is available at a very budget-friendly price of $199. Now, the PACE 2 doesn't have every feature offered by some of the more expensive watches like HRV tracking, route navigation, or music playback, just to give you a few examples. But given that it is the fraction of the cost compared to those that do, it feels like more than a fair trade-off. Very few of any other GPS watches can really compare to the PACE 2 at this price point. So I'm going to show you what in particular that I found great about the COROS PACE 2, as well as some of the things that you may be missing out on by going with a more budget watch. At just 29 grams with the nylon band, the COROS PACE 2 is the lightest GPS watch available. It's this ultra lightweight which helps the PACE 2 feel so comfortable to wear during both running and normal everyday use. The nylon strap has a quick and easy to use Velcro adjustment, and at the end of the strap there is actually a raised edge to help prevent it from sliding off should somehow you fumble the adjustment during a run. And if you don't like the nylon strap, there is also a silicone strap option, and you can change it out with really any 20mm band that is designed for quick release. Now, the COROS PACE 2 utilizes an always-on memory LCD color display without a touchscreen, which helps to conserve battery. And while the screen may not look amazing indoors, especially when it isn't backlit, it is far from looking bad. Outside though, especially in direct sunlight, the screen just looks exceptionally great, and it's very clear and easy to read while you're on the run. And after 1 month of testing, the screen seems to be fairly resistant to scratching as well. I unfortunately can be fairly reckless when it comes to watches, so I am happy to report that the PACE 2 screen still looks as good as the day I first got it. So everything you do with the COROS PACE 2 is controlled with these two buttons, the top of which is also a digital dial. And these buttons have various functions depending on the screen and if you hold them versus just press them. So it did take me a little while to get used to it all, but once I did, it started to feel very intuitive and easy to navigate. Now, to unlock the screen, you will need to rotate the digital dial a full 360 degrees, which I didn't find really as a problem most of the time, but I did find it a bit annoying to have to do when on a run, as sometimes I just wanted to see data that I didn't have set to my primary running data screen. But luckily I did find an option under the settings which allows you to change that screen unlock during workouts to just a button hold, which I found a lot easier to use, or you can just get rid of the auto lock altogether. So as somebody who always hates to have to constantly charge my various wearables, the long battery life of the COROS PACE 2 is a huge selling point. The battery takes about 2 hours to fully charge, but it lasts around 20 days with regular use, or about 30 hours in full GPS mode. There's also an additional option called Ultra Max GPS mode, which, well, sort of alternates the GPS with COROS's movement algorithms during workouts to help extend the battery life even further. And while I'm sure that there are some ultra endurance athletes who may need that feature, I never felt the need to ever try it given how long the battery life already is. There is also an excellent battery usage widget included, and this not only gives you an estimate of how long you have left given your current battery, but also breaks down your battery usage by each feature. So if you want to extend your battery life, well, you have more than enough tools here to make that happen. So on the front of the watch, you can immediately see the time, date, battery life, number of steps taken, daily calories burned, and current heart rate, which is measured once every 10 minutes when you're not working out. Tapping the lower button will allow you to cycle through even more metrics, like your total exercise time or the number of floors you've climbed throughout the day. And from here, you can use that digital dial to scroll through various other widgets and metrics, including your sleep tracking, barometric pressure, temperature, and a variety of others. Many of these, you can also scroll through all the data taken over the past 6 hours. And this can be further increased via settings to 12 or even 18 hours if you prefer. There are also a variety of running performance metrics displayed here as you scroll through, like your running performance, fatigue, and recovery. And these are extremely useful metrics, which I'll touch a bit more on when we discuss COROS's Evo Lab during the app portion of this review. Now, while you can start a variety of workout types from the COROS Pace 2, the watch is built primarily with the runner or triathlete in mind. For running, you can select between outdoor, indoor, or even track run modes. You can choose a workout you've created or imported via the app, but you don't have to, and you can just start a workout without any prep at all, and you can even create simple interval structures right on the watch itself if you'd like to before you start. Now, what you won't find here are any features really for hiking or trail running or skiing or snowboarding. So if these activities are a big part of, well, what you like to do, well, then you may want to consider looking at some other watches like the COROS Apex or even Vertex 2, which can offer a lot more for those types of activities like route navigation. Now on the Pace 2, you can customize up to 6 watch faces for each of the different training types via the app, so you can display the exact data that you want to see. And there are a lot of options here to choose from more basic metrics like heart rate, speed, and stride length, to more premium features like running power or the newly added adjusted pace. These help give you a better sense of your true effort and output, whether you are on a flat road or on an incline, something that you cannot get just by looking at your running pace alone. I also appreciate the included track mode here. As someone who prefers sprint work over endurance efforts, I often find myself headed to the local track. And the track mode here helps the GPS dial in your exact location, even down to the specific lane that you are in, which I have found to be spot on and really helpful for dialing in my interval splits. Well, except for the one case that I wanted to avoid the sprinklers, which you can see here. By the way, if you enjoy content like this and you want more of it, well, make sure to subscribe to Connect the Watts. You probably won't regret it. No promises though. Okay, so the COROS Pace 2 is, of course, built more for the runner, but there also is a large variety of workout types to choose from. COROS is able to pair with additional accessories via Bluetooth and ANT Plus to gather more data both for running and cycling and many other sports. For example, you can even connect your rower to it so it can help track your split times. There's also a strength workout mode, which can do a decent job of tracking your movements. Well, sometimes, definitely there are some movements that are better than others, and not necessarily the movements that you would think. For example, when tracking squats, which have very little arm movement, it's actually pretty good. But try doing some bench presses, which you think would be easy to track with a watch, and things get a little funky. Now you can plan or input strength workouts with the included COROS Workout Builder, which is on the app, but without a workout planned, I still like the fact that you can select and adjust which body part is primarily being worked as you go throughout your workout, because this also will later show up within your body heat map to give you a better sense of which body parts you are working the most and maybe which ones you are neglecting. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to really be a way to adjust the weights or the automatic rep counting while you're in the middle of a workout itself, which sort of feels like a missed opportunity. Hopefully it'll come in a future update. Personally, I just wouldn't suggest the COROS Pace 2 for your strength tracking, but it is definitely better than having nothing, and it'll probably be the most useful for those who really invest the time to build out their strength workouts on the app every single time. The COROS Pace 2 also offers sleep tracking, and while it has always tracked this, a recent update just the other week enabled the addition of REM sleep tracking. Now look, even the best sleep apps and watches are still not very accurate when it comes to understanding your sleep, but the Pace 2 seems even farther off than most. Now the sleep tracking probably suffers here a bit because the Pace 2 only takes a heart rate measurement once every 10 minutes, and that's compared to once every 5 minutes on the Apple Watch or once every 1/100th of a second on the Whoop. Because of this, it likely can only use arm movement to estimate your sleep length and quality instead of being able to combine that with your heart rate data for a bit more accuracy. Additionally, there are a decent amount of other widgets to be found on the COROS Pace 2. There's camera control, which can help you control your GoPro or Insta360 cameras. There's a new Find My Phone feature, which if your phone is within Bluetooth range, it'll send out an alarm so you can more easily find your phone. And it works the other way as well, so that your phone can send out an alert on your COROS watch if you're having trouble finding that. And if you're at all like me, you'll probably be using these two features quite a lot. There's also a compass, the ability to broadcast your heart rate to other devices during your workouts, a metronome, a stopwatch, timer, alarm, and night mode, which if you have on, it'll keep the backlight turned on during your workouts at night. The COROS app is a simple yet pretty useful companion to the Pace 2. You can browse your daily progress, analyze your running metrics with the Evo Lab, and even browse through additional metrics on your completed workouts. In its latest update, COROS added the ability to place RPE emojis and training notes to your planned workouts. And this is a pretty important feature, and it is only available right now for your planned programmed workouts and not yet available for your unplanned workouts, which kind of seems strange because why not be able to take these kind of notes for all of them? But luckily the app can pair and automatically send your data to a variety of other third-party apps like Strava if you prefer to track your workouts elsewhere. Now, the Evo Lab is COROS's sports science analysis of your running data, and this section of the app is unlocked after 7 outdoor runs or so, kind of depending on the length of your runs. And there is a good amount of data that you can track here, from your marathon level, your VO2 max, resting heart rate, your running performance percentage of your previous run, your threshold pace, threshold heart rate, fatigue level, base fitness, load impact, 7-day total load, and a race predictor. And as I mentioned earlier, all of these numbers can be viewed on the Pace 2 watch, but they are much better organized and easier to evaluate on the app itself. You can learn a lot more about all these measurements in the Evo Lab. I'll put a link in the video description below. Now, within the app is also a training calendar and a workout builder to help you keep your workouts organized. The workout builder is fairly straightforward and easy to use, especially for the non-strength workouts. It does, I found, take a bit more effort to build a strength program here, but it's not too bad once you get used to it and add a majority of the movements that you typically do. You can also share, download, and import workouts via QR codes. And COROS has a ton of pre-built training plans that you can access and import. Again, I'll leave a link in the description below. The COROS app also allows you to further customize your Pace 2 to your exact liking. The most useful customization being that you can create up to 6 metric screens for each workout type. There are also a variety of watch faces to choose from, and you can choose 5 of these to be uploaded to your watch at any time, so you don't always have to be connected to the app if you want to switch them out. They also change colors too, by the way, which I thought was a nice touch. And you can also choose to hide various widgets or workout types that you don't typically use, which makes navigation on the COROS Pace 2 a bit faster. Now, the COROS Pace 2 is a few years old at this point, but it is still one of the best, if not the best, runner's GPS watches available for under $200. With lots of great features and metrics to help keep your training organized, there's more than enough provided here to satisfy most runners. And with its ultralight design and long battery life, I still think it holds up just as well as it did a few years ago, which is pretty incredible. Now, if you want to learn more about the COROS Pace 2, I created an entire guide for beginners that covers each of the features in much more detail. Make sure to check that out and let me know what you think about the COROS Pace 2 in the comments below. Appreciate it as always, and I'll see you next time.